Hi, I'm Ambassador Refica Attwood, the Executive Director for Wallings Nature Reserve, and I'll be showing you around today. Welcome to the Wallings Reservoir, built in 1890, designed to hold 13 million gallons of water to supply 15 water tanks in 15 villages. So it means then, back then, this was the place to get water. Alright, so where I'm standing, if it was really full, I would be washed away by water. The stone down there was moved by water quite a few years ago. The last recorded full was November 11, 2020, where we had a 36-hour freak storm where it filled the reservoir again after being empty for a decade. So, eventually, we hope that the Wallings Reservoir can reuse the pump system to show persons how the water went in the reservoir and went out of the reservoir so that they can have an idea and experience nature. Behind me is a control tower that used to control how the water got out of the reservoir. So the reservoir has two measuring sticks, one that completely disappears when the reservoir is full, and the second one closest to me where the water comes up to a mark and then flows over the line. The control tower goes down 50 feet. And when you come to Wallings Nature Reserve, located in the Wallings Forest area, we hope to teach you about the history, the importance of preserving culture, why we are fighting to uphold tradition and keeping the area as pristine as possible so that future generations can understand why it was important then and the importance of it now as ruins, so that they can understand the importance of having water running through your pipes naturally being caught by the rain in a location. We are now ranked as the 5th best Caribbean attraction for 2022 due to the hard work of the team members right here to ensure that the trails are pristine and persons have an idea how to get on and off, and there are persons on site to rescue if the needs be. So, the work of the Wallings Nature Reserve as a conservation company is to ensure that we keep nature just the way it is. Built in 1890, it was finished in 1912 because after they put it into commission, they realized it was leaking. So they had to decommission it, fix the problem, and then get it back again. So it started in 1890, putting it to work. They realized it was leaking, and by 1912, it was complete. The reservoir was one of the main water suppliers for Antigua and Barbuda. So anywhere when you turned on your tap back then, you were getting water from this point. And the reason why they could get water so often was because the rain and the trees in the location ensured that any drop of water that came was caught. Kapok, silk cotton tree, sepia pentandara, those are the names that the tree will. Okay, I'm sitting on the roots of a call. It's called the king of the jungle because in my theory the tree is bad-minded. So it always wants to be the tallest tree anywhere in the vicinity that is growing. So it's a tree that's constantly growing all the time. So anywhere you see a silk cotton tree, it's going to be the tallest tree in that vicinity. If the neighboring tree tries to outgrow it, it's going to continue growing because it always wants to be the tallest tree. So this root, we've had persons that are 5 feet 3 stand in it. The root is actually taller than them. So this root is actually 5 feet. So as a small tree, it has spikes. Growing bigger, the spikes are shed from the back going up, and it's quite hollow. However, if you think you can climb the tree, you're in for a treat. The top of the leaves or the branches, there's still spikes, where if you decide I'm going to build a step, the tree doesn't want you climbing it. What the Arawaks and the Caribs used to do is they would cut down the tree, put the rocks in fire, put them in the tree to get the shape, and then pour water on it to keep the shape. So those canoes that you see them paddling around in is made from the silk cotton tree. Also, the cotton pods from the silk cotton tree date as far back as to the Titanic. So the life jackets then were stuffed with the cotton pods for protection so persons could float. The clothes you're wearing, the sheet you're sleeping on, has some component of the silk cotton from the silk cotton tree in it. So this is the pod from the silk cotton tree. So this is what they would use back then to stuff the life jackets, make clothing, stuff your pillows. and basically it's very soft, and when it's blowing in the wind it looks like Christmas, so we call it white Christmas. So it looks like snow, so we call it the Caribbean snow when silk cotton is in season. Have you ever heard about the naughty step? Well, we have a naughty tree in the Caribbean. So at 6 o'clock it is alleged that jumbies come out of the tree, and the jumbies means it's a ghost. It means somebody that has passed on and is supposed to be on the other side. So if you are misbehaving at 6 p.m., your grandparents would say to you, I'm going to take you to put you under the sandbox tree. The children would then start to behave. Why? Because if you're a male, you'd find a pretty female coming out of the tree leading you to your demise. Or if you're a female, a really pretty male coming out leading you to your demise. It was just the branches of the tree rubbing together that made that mourning sound, because I've heard it at night and it does sound like somebody's mourning or saying, I'm coming for you, I'm coming for you. So you'd find persons behaving themselves because they don't want to be put under the sandbox tree. The sandbox tree is actually poisonous, so the spikes you're seeing there is to protect you from getting harmed. It's a really cool fruit, shaped like a pumpkin, splits apart. When it pops, it sounds like gunshots in the forest. And what it was used back then as was a really cool ink well, where they would drill a hole in the center, put the ink into it, and then use a quill to write with the ink from that. Now, when you're walking in the forest, you're going to hear the sounds of seeds exploding from the sandbox tree. And what persons have begun to do is to use these cool pods, shave them down. You make earrings, you make pendants. They've used them to make jewelry boxes. They've begun to use the sandbox tree in arts and crafts. Usually a tree grows from roots up to from the ground up. In this case, the strangler fig tree, so this root system, when it touches the ground, is going to become what you're seeing over there. And it's going towards the sunlight. So it's going in that direction. The purpose of the strangler fig tree is to kill other trees. Can't say it any nicer. It's to kill other trees. So it's there to try forever. If you're looking at the silk cotton tree, you'd notice that it's losing the battle to try to strangle the tree. And it usually starts from a seed deposited by a human passing and touching the tree, a bird or a bat leaving a seed on another tree where it starts to grow, and it takes over the whole tree. Here in the Wallings forest, we have quite a few strangler fig trees, and anywhere you go in the forest and you find a strangler fig tree, you're going to notice that it adapts to the environment that it's living in. So in this case, if it's raining really hard and you forgot your umbrella, you can use the root system as a sense of security until you can get to safety. So it's hot. This is the wild seaside grass, elephant ears. We call it the black labrador. What you can do with it, as you're seeing, I was making a fan because it's quite humid, or you can use it as a plate if you got your plate while you're hiking. You can even wrap your dukana, which is a local dish, in here where the cool patterns are going to come out on your dukana. If you forgot your umbrella, you can get a big leaf while you're hiking in the forest to use as a shade so that you can enjoy nature and protect yourself in the meantime.